In the summer of 1938, the world stopped to play a game of football. It would be the last time for 12 years. 15 nations came to France that June, and one of them no longer existed. Its flag had been taken down 4 months earlier, its players scattered, its country folded into someone else's. This World Cup was played on the edge of a cliff, and nobody in the stands wanted to look down. This is the third World Cup. France, 1938. The first two had belonged to the men who built the game. Uruguay, then Italy. This one would belong to the shadow, falling across the continent that hosted it. But the shadow came later. First, for one more glorious summer, there was the football. And before a ball was kicked, you could already measure the darkness by the empty chairs. The holders were there, Italy. The hosts were there, France. But the very first champions, Uruguay, stayed home, still nursing a grudge that Europe had taken the tournament twice in a row. Argentina entered, argued, and walked away. Spain could not come at all. Spain was tearing itself apart in a civil war. And then there was Austria. That March, Nazi Germany had marched in and swallowed the country whole. The Anschluss, and one of the finest teams in Europe, the Austrian Wunder team, simply ceased to exist. Its players were handed German shirts. Its greatest, Matthias Sindelar, refused to wear one. Austria's place in the draw was left blank. The tournament hadn't kicked a ball, and the war had already rewritten the team sheet. So 15 teams were left to play it, and they would play it the hard way. No groups, no second chances, straight knockout, lose once, and sail home. 12 of the 15 came from Europe. Only 3 made the journey from beyond it. Brazil, Cuba at their very first World Cup, and for the first time in the tournament's history, a team from Asia, the Dutch East Indies, the country we now call Indonesia. They would play exactly one match here. We'll come back to them, because first, the brilliance. And the brilliance was loud. The first round was bedlam. Switzerland and Germany, a Germany now stitched together out of 2 countries, could not be separated and met again. In the replay, Germany went 2 goals clear and still lost. The World Cup was out of Germany before June was over. And in Strasbourg, in a downpour, Brazil and Poland scored 11 goals between them. Brazil winning 6-5. Hold on to that match. We are coming back to it. The quarter-finals cut the field to the bone. Italy, playing in black, the black shirts of Mussolini's government, stitched into a football kit on purpose, knocked the hosts out. Sweden put 8 past Cuba, and Brazil and Czechoslovakia fought a match so violent it earned its own name, the Battle of Bordeaux. By the time the dust settled, 4 teams were left, and 2 of them reached the final. Italy and Hungary. The 19th of June. Paris. The Stade Olympique de Cologne. The holders against the most dangerous attack in the tournament. It began in a blur. Italy scored, and Hungary answered almost before the net had stopped shaking. But then Italy's class told. Gino Colausi struck twice. Silvio Piola struck twice. By halftime, it was 3-1, and quietly, it was over, 4-2. Italy were champions of the world, again. The first team ever to win the World Cup twice, and the first to win it back-to-back. Italy lifted the trophy, but that is not the moment the world kept from 1938. For that, we have to go back 2 weeks to Strasbourg, to the rain, Brazil and Poland, the 6-5. The pitch had turned to mud, and through that mud moved a footballer no one had quite seen before, Leonidas da Silva, the Black Diamond. The story goes that he tried to play barefoot, and the referee made him put his boots back on. Whether it's true hardly matters. that it's believable tells you everything. Leonidas scored and finished the tournament its top scorer. Italy took the cup home. Brazil took home something that lasts longer, because the World Cup had just found its first true artist. So how did Italy do it? Twice. One man. Vittorio Pozzo, still to this day, the only manager who has ever won 2 World Cups. But Pozzo's Italy came wrapped in something harder to admire. Those black shirts were not a kit choice. They were a message from a regime that had understood before almost anyone that a football team could be made to carry a flag. There's a story that Mussolini wired the squad before the final with 3 words: win or die. It almost certainly never happened. The players said so themselves. But notice that you half believed it. That you could believe it is what this World Cup was played underneath. So this is what 1938 left on the record. Italy, champions, with Hungary, Brazil, and Sweden behind them. 84 goals in 18 matches, the most free-scoring World Cup played yet. Leonidas, the tournament's top scorer, and Vittorio Pozzo holding a record 2 World Cups won that has stood untouched for nearly 90 years. And then the lights went out. 14 months after that final in Paris, the world was at war. The 1942 World Cup was never played. Neither was 1946. For 12 years, there was no World Cup at all, and Italy stayed champions the whole time, holders of a trophy with no way to defend it. That trophy spent the war in a shoebox, hidden under a bed by an Italian official so that no occupying army could melt it down. 1938 was the last ordinary summer the tournament ever had. And when football finally came back, the world it came back to was not the same world at all. That was the 3rd World Cup, the last one before the dark. When the game returns, it returns from 12 years of silence to a country that built the largest stadium the sport had ever seen, for a final that would end in the most famous heartbreak in football history. 1950, Brazil. Follow the countdown, and we'll see you there.